Hello, amazing. What are your thoughts on a typeface that is intentionally designed to help you remember what you read? Welcome to Reframes, the podcast where we invite you to take a different perspective on life. I'm Matthias Jakobsen. And for those who are wondering, what is a typeface? A typeface is what most people just call a font. It's something you have on your computer, and it's all the different letters in the alphabet designed in a particular way to look a certain way. So some people are familiar with Times New Roman, or Helvetica, or Arial. These are all fonts that exist on most computers. But there are many different ways you can design a typeface. And I received an email recently from someone who asked me about this new typeface, this new font called Sans Forgetica. And I had not heard of it before, so I had to look it up. But it's a typeface designed by some researchers at the RMIT University in Australia. And their goal was to make a typeface for your study notes that helps you remember your study notes better. And what they did was they looked at cognitive psychology and whatever. I can't remember all the details. You can click the link in the description to see for yourself. But in essence, what they managed to do was to make a typeface that is intentionally made to be less legible, so it's harder to read it. Most typefaces are designed to be as easy as possible to read, and it's one of the big discussions when you're working with graphic designers and you're picking the right typeface for a design, for a project. It's like, is it legible? Can people actually read the text because you want them to read the text? But this typeface, Sans Forgetica, is designed not to be easy to read, to be difficult to read. And their claim, at least, I don't know if it's true, but their claim is that by making it harder to read the text, it forces your brain to slow down and therefore to process the words in a deeper way. And so helping you remember your study notes better. I have a few doubts about this as it pertains to if it actually works for study notes or not. I think the studies I have seen are more about how the way that you write your notes can dramatically impact your ability to remember stuff. And the theory there is that if you type your notes, you're just typing so fast, you can basically type a transcript of a lecture without actually really listening. You're just kind of letting it flow in through the ears and out through the keyboard. So you'll have very good notes in the sense that they're very complete and they capture everything that the lecturer said, but little additional understanding. And whereas the studies of people that do notes by hand, they can't write everything down by hand. It's too slow. So they have to actually, in the moment, understand and synthesize the information. And so even though the study notes are less complete and they're a shortened version, the overall understanding that students achieve is supposedly higher. That's the kind of the famous studies in that world. So this makes me just doubt at least some of the claims about this typeface, as if that should be a magic bullet. But I think the more important thing is that I think it's still important, it still raises an important question, which is, what's the purpose of a typeface? We take for granted that it's all about making it more legible. And then here's someone who makes a typeface that is intentionally less legible. Because the objective is different. The objective is to remember text. It's the same again with when I teach people how to write by hand. And I don't know where this noise is coming from. I'm trying to move away from it. When I teach people to write by hand, I also usually teach them that you can adjust your writing speed depending on the outcome that you want. If you want perfectly beautiful, very, very neat handwritten letters, you can slow down and really be careful. Another time what you want is something that's, it doesn't need to be as neat and pretty. It just needs to capture your thoughts. And then it's fine to go a little faster. And so the takeaway I want you to take from this whole story is not so much about, going in and looking up a new typeface and downloading it to your computer. But it's this reminder of how important it is to question our assumptions one level back. And it's so rather than arguing about which typeface is best because which one is most legible or which one is most beautiful, to go back and question, well, what's the objective? Is the objective to have the most legible, or is the objective to remember? And the same when you're writing by hand versus typing. What's the objective? Is it to capture as much information as possible, or is it to understand it better, or is it something else? It could be something else entirely. The important thing is not what it is, but that you go back and ask yourself, what's really the point? So, thank you for listening to Reframes, the podcast where we invite you to take a different perspective on life. This podcast is produced in collaboration with Niki Schmikis. I'm Matthias Jakobsen. Have a great day.